Oh, you think you're too good for us now, don't you, Miss High and Mighty? Aunt Velma's voice sliced through the chatter of the family reunion like a butcher's knife through soft butter. She stood there, hands on her wide hips, her floral dress flapping in the late summer breeze, glaring at me across the picnic table piled high, with potato salad and guilt. I froze, fork halfway to my mouth, a chunk of deviled egg trembling on the tines. Velma, I never said that. Where's this even coming from? She snorted, loud enough to make Uncle Ray choke on his sweet tea. Don't play dumb with me, Carol. Ever since you got that fancy job in the city, you've been looking down your nose at us. Skipped the last 3 reunions. 3. And now you waltz in here with your store-bought pie like it's some grand peace offering? Uh. The pie in question sat there, a sad little blueberry thing from a supermarket, its plastic dome glinting accusingly in the sunlight. I'd meant it as a gesture, not a declaration of war. It's just pie, Velma. I didn't have time to bake, okay? I've been swamped at work, swamped. Cousin Lila chimed in, her voice a high-pitched cackle as she leaned over the table, her dangly earrings swinging like chandeliers in a storm. Listen to her, y'all. Swamped. Too busy for family, but not too busy to cash those big checks, huh? She flicked a manicured nail at me, red polish flashing like a warning signal that I set the fork down, heat creeping up my neck. Around us, the backyard buzzed, kids shrieking as they chased each other with water guns, the smoky tang of ribs sizzling on the grill. But all I could hear was the thud of my own pulse. Lila, that's not fair. I've been sending money to help with Mama's bills. You know that. Oh, sure. Throw money at us like we're beggars. Velma snapped, crossing her arms so tight her bosom looked ready to burst free. What we need is you, Carol. Not your charity. But new. You're off living your big life while we're here, scraping by. Uncle Ray coughed, wiping tea off his grizzled chin. Now, Velma, let's not get carried away. Carol's doing her best. Her best? Lila cut in, tossing her peroxide blonde hair. Her best is forgetting my Tommy's birthday last month. Didn't even send a card, Ray. Too busy hobnobbing with those city slickers, I reckon. I opened my mouth and shut it. Tommy's birthday. Damn, she was right. I'd forgotten. But between the 14-hour shifts and the divorce papers I'd signed last week, my brain was a sieve. Lila, I'm sorry about Tommy. I'll make it up to him, I swear. Make it up. Velma's laugh was a jagged thing, sharp enough to nick skin. Like you made it up to your poor mama when you didn't show for Christmas. She cried all night, Carol. All night. And Mimi, having to mop up her tears while you were sipping champagne somewhere fancy. The table went quiet. Even the kids paused, water guns drooping. I could feel Mama's eyes on me from the porch swing, soft and gray like a storm cloud holding back rain. She hadn't said a word yet, but that look, it hit harder than Velma's tongue ever could. I wasn't sipping champagne, I said, voice low, trembling like a leaf caught in the wind. I was working, alone, in a cubicle with fluorescent lights that buzz like hornets. You think I wanted to miss Christmas? Then why did you? Lila shot back, quick as a whip. Why were you always missing everything? Huh? Too good for us, that's why. Enough. Mama's voice cracked across the yard like thunder, and we all jumped. She stood up from the swing, slow and deliberate, her cane tapping the wooden steps as she came down. Her hair was white now, thin as cotton candy, but her spine was steel. Y'all stop this hollering right now. Carol's here, ain't she? That's what matters. Velma huffed, but her fire dimmed. She's here with that pitiful pie, Dora. Barely counts. Mama fixed her with a stare that could melt ice. It counts plenty. And you, Velma, you've been griping since noon about everything from the heat to Ray's snoring. Maybe he's up a little, huh? Ray chuckled, scratching his bald head. She's got me pegged, don't she? Lila smirked, but it didn't reach her eyes. Fine, Mama Dora. But Carol still got some explaining to do. I took a deep breath, the air thick with barbecue smoke and tension. Look, I'm not perfect. I messed up. Tommy's birthday, Christmas, all of it. But I'm not running from you. I'm trying to keep my head above water. The job, the divorce, it's been a lot. Divorce. Velma's eyebrows shot up, her voice softening for the first time. You never said nothing about that. Didn't want to burden you, I muttered, picking at a splinter on the table. Figured you'd say I failed at that too. Mama reached me then, her hand cool and papery on my shoulder. Oh, honey, why didn't you tell us? Because I was ashamed. I blurted, louder than I meant. Ashamed of the marriage falling apart. Ashamed of missing everything here. I thought you'd all hate me. Lila's mouth dropped open, then snapped shut. Velma blinked, her arms uncrossing like a drawbridge lowering. Hate you, she said, almost a whisper. Carol, your family. We don't hate you. We're mad as hornets sometimes, sure, but hate? Never. The knot in my chest loosened, just a little. Then why all this yelling? Because we miss you, you big dummy. Lila threw up her hands, earrings jangling. You're off in your city bubble, and we're here wondering if you even remember us. Mama squeezed my shoulder. They're loudmouths, these two. Always have been. Velma once screamed at a rooster for crowing too early. Chased it with a broom till it hid in the barn. Ray roared with laughter. That's my Velma. Feathers everywhere. Velma swatted at him, but a grin tugged at her lips. Oh, hush, you old coot. Point is, Carol, we're a mess, but we're your mess. Don't you go forgetting that. I looked around, at Velma's flushed cheeks, Lila's pouty defiance, Mama's quiet strength, Ray's twinkling eyes. They were circus, my family, loud and brash and impudent as all get out. But they were mine, and maybe I'd been the impudent one, pulling away when I should have leaned in. I won't forget, I said, voice steady now. And next time, I'll bake the damn pie myself. Deal, deal, Lila crowed, snatching a deviled egg from my plate. But it better be good, city girl. Velma winked, a rare sparkle in her eye. Better be, or I'll chase you with a broom. Mama just smiled, and I felt it, the weight lifting, the storm breaking. Justice didn't always come with a gavel. Sometimes it came with a picnic table, a store-bought pie, and a family too stubborn to let you go. Lord, Velma, you think Carol's really going to show up this time? Lila asked, perched on the edge of Mama Dora's sagging porch swing, twisting a strand of her peroxide blonde hair around a finger. The late afternoon sun glinted off her chipped red nail polish, a leftover from her days dreaming of being a beautician, before Tommy came along and turned her into a single mom with a cashier job at the Piggly Wiggly. Velma, fussing with a pitcher of lemonade, didn't look up. She better. Skipped Christmas, Easter, and Ray's big 60th last fall. 60th, Lila. I had to bake that man a cake myself, and you know my arthritis hates me kneading dough. She rubbed her knobby hands, once nimble enough to sew quilts that won ribbons at the county fair. Now, she and Ray scraped by on his mechanic pension and her part-time gig at the church thrift shop, dreaming of a little RV to see the Grand Canyon someday. Lila snorted, kicking the porch railing with a scuffed sandal. Oh, please. Carol's too busy with that big-shot accounting job. Remember when she was little, always counting her pennies in that piggy bank shaped like a cow? Said she'd buy us all a mansion one day. She laughed, sharp and quick, but her eyes flicked toward the road, hoping, maybe, that her cousins still remembered those promises. Lila had her own dreams once. A hair salon with her name in neon. Now, she just wanted Tommy to finish high school without getting into more fights. Big shot nothing, Velma grumbled, pouring lemonade with a splash. She's got no family up there in that city. No husband neither, I reckon. Not after that slick-talking Paul ran off. Heard from Dora, he left her high and dry 2 years back. Broke her heart, that one did. Velma clucked her tongue, a habit from raising 3 kids of her own, all grown and scattered now. She'd always wanted Carol to settle closer, maybe take over the old family farm. Keep the roots deep. Mama Dora shuffled out then, her cane tapping like a metronome, her white hair glowing in the golden light. You'll hush about Paul. Carol don't need us picking at old wounds. She told me last month, over the phone, mind you, she's still signing papers to be rid of him. Said it's like pulling teeth with no Novocaine. Dora eased into a rocker, her gray eyes distant. She'd raised Carol and her brother alone after their daddy died in a mill accident when Carol was 10. Her dream? Just to see her girl smile again, not buried under work and worry. Ray poked his head out the screen door, wiping grease off his hand with a rag, still tinkering with that old Chevy in the garage, his pride and joy. She's coming? Ain't she? Sent me $50 last week to fix the carburetor. Said, Uncle Ray, don't you dare quit driving. He chuckled, his bald head shiny with sweat. Ray had no big dreams left, just to keep his hands busy and his Velma happy. But he missed Carol's laugh, the way she used to ride shotgun in that Chevy, begging him to go faster. She's coming, Dora said firmly, like she could will it true. But don't you two start in on her the minute she gets here. Girl's been drowning up there, work, divorce, all of it. Used to tell me she'd build a life so big she'd never feel small again. Now I think she's just tired. Lila smirked, but it was softer this time. Tired? Well, she can join the club. Me and Tommy barely got the rent paid last month. I told her once, Carol, come back. We'll open that salon together. She laughed it off, said she's no good with scissors. Velma set the pitcher down with a thunk. She's good with numbers, though. Always was. Maybe too good. Keeps her away from us. But mark my words, if she shows up with some pitiful store-bought pie instead of homemade, I'm giving her what for? Dora raised an eyebrow. And I'll give you what for if you scare her off again, Velma. She's family. We pull her in, not push her out. Ray grinned, stepping onto the porch. Reckon we'll see soon enough. That's her car kicking up dust down the lane right now. And so, Carol arrived, fresh from a crumbling marriage and a soul-crushing job, still clinging to her childhood dream of making it big, but starting to wonder if big meant something else entirely. Velma, Lila, Ray, and Dora waited, each with their own scars and hopes, ready to clash and mend in the messy, loud way only family can. All right, the pie's a peace offering. Can we call a truce now? I said, forcing a grin as I slid the blueberry monstrosity closer to Velma. The air still crackled, but Mama's hand on my shoulder felt like an anchor in a storm. Velma squinted at the pie like it was a suspect in a lineup. Truce? Humph. We'll see how it tastes first. Ray, grab me a knife. This thing's getting a trial by fire. Ray ambled over, chuckling. You're tougher than a $2 steak, Velma. Give the girl a break. He fished a pocket knife from his overalls, flipping it open with a flourish that made the kids nearby whoop. But before he could slice into the pie, a sharp crack split the air, like a gunshot or a branch snapping under too much weight. Everyone froze. Lila's head whipped toward the old oak by the garage, its gnarled limbs swaying in the breeze. What in the— There! Tommy shouted, pointing from the edge of the yard, his water gun forgotten. It's coming down. Sure enough, the oak groaned, a deep, mournful sound, and then, with a thunderous crash, one of its massive branches smashed onto Ray's Chevy, crumpling the hood like tinfoil. Dust and leaves exploded into the air, and the kids screamed, half in terror, half in delight. Ray, Velma shrieked, dropping the pie. It hit the table with a wet splat, berries oozing like blood. Your car! Oh Lord, your car! Ray stumbled forward, his face pale as a ghost. My Chevy, my baby, I just tuned her up. Carol, you sent me the money for that carburetor. He turned to me, eyes wild. This can't be happening. I gaped at the wreckage, the pie forgotten. I didn't mean for— Ray, I'm so sorry. Gil hit me like a freight train. That $50 was supposed to keep him rolling, not leave him stranded. Lila darted to the scene, earrings jangling like alarm bells. Sorry? Sorry don't fix that, Carol. That's Ray's pride and joy. How's he supposed to get to the shop now? You gonna send more money for that, too? Enough, Lila. Mama snapped, her cane thumping the ground. It's a tree, not Carol's doing. Accidents happen. Y'all calm down. But Velma wasn't calming. She rounded on me, hands flapping like a riled-up hen. Accidents? No, Dora, this is a sign. Carol shows up, and bam, disaster. She's been gone so long she's brought bad luck with her. Bad luck? I shot back, heat flooding my cheeks. Velma, that's ridiculous. I didn't summon a storm. I just walked in with a pie. Didn't you, though? Lila muttered, crossing her arms. Everything's fine till you roll in. Tommy's birthday, Christmas, now this. Maybe Velma's on to something. Ray sank onto a lawn chair, staring at the Chevy's mangled hood. Don't matter who's to blame. She's done for. Ain't got the cash to fix that. Not unless I sell the RV fund. His voice cracked, and Velma's fire dimmed for a split second. Sell the RV fund? She whispered, clutching her chest. Ray, we've been saving 5 years for that trip. You promised me the Grand Canyon. Don't you dare take that away. I stepped forward, hands up like I could stop the chaos. Wait. Nobody's selling anything. I'll help pay for it. Okay? I've got some savings. Lila's laugh was a razor's edge. Oh, here she goes again, throwing money at us. What's next, Carol? Buying us off so you can skip the next reunion too? That's not what I meant. I shouted, louder than I'd intended. The kids went quiet, and even the cicadas seemed to pause. I'm trying to fix this, Lila. I don't want Ray losing his car. Or your damn dream, Velma. Mama's eyes narrowed, sharp as a hawk's. Carol, watch your tone. And you too, Velma. Lila, stop pecking at her like she's a worm in the dirt. We're family, not vultures. But then Tommy piped up, his voice small but clear. Aunt Carol, there's something else. He pointed at the fallen branch, where a rusty metal box peeked out from the splintered wood, like it had been lodged in the tree for decades. What the hell? Ray muttered, hauling himself up. He limped over, Velma and Lila trailing like curious cats. I followed, heart thudding. The box was dented, sealed tight with a padlock, and etched with faded initials. J.D. J.D. Velma frowned, squinting. That's your daddy's mark, Carol. John Davis. He used to climb that oak all the time when we were kids. Said it was his thinking spot. Mama gasped, her cane trembling. John? Oh, mercy. He had things up there, letters, trinkets. Said it was his secret vault. I thought it was just boy nonsense. Ray pried at the lock with his knife, grunting. Rusted shut. Tommy grabbed my toolbox. Let's see what's inside. Could be cash, Lila said, eyes gleaming. Maybe enough to fix the Chevy and get me a new dryer. Mine's been sparking like a firecracker. Or junk, Velma countered, but her voice wavered. John was a dreamer, not a banker. Probably just old love notes to Dora. I knelt by the box, tracing the initials. Daddy, gone since I was 10, crushed in that mill. If it's his, I want to know. Maybe it's something he left for us. Tommy raced back with the toolbox, and Ray popped the lock with a snap. The lid creaked open, revealing a stash of yellowed envelopes, a tarnished watch, and a small leather pouch that jingled when I lifted it. Coins spilled out, glinting in the sun. Not modern quarters, but old silver dollars, dozens of them. Holy! Lila clapped a hand over her mouth. That's real money. Enough to fix the car? Ray asked, hope flickering in his tired eyes. And then some, I said, counting fast. Maybe enough for that RV trip too. Velma stared, her jaw slack. John, you old fox, hiding a fortune up there all this time? Mama smiled, tears brimming. That's my John, always planning ahead, even when we didn't see it. Lila grabbed my arm, squeezing tight. Carol, you brought the bad luck and the good. You're staying now, right? Help us figure this out. I laughed, shaky but real. Yeah, Lila, I'm staying. Let's dig into this mess together. The Chevy was toast, the RV dream flickered back to life, and Daddy's secret flipped everything upside down. Plans? Out the window. But for once, I didn't mind the chaos. It felt like home. The silver dollars glinted in my hands, cold and heavy, like Daddy's ghost had tossed them down from that busted oak to shake us awake. We dragged the rusty box to the picnic table, the splintered branch and Ray's crushed Chevy looming behind us like a battlefield after the cannon stopped. The air buzzed, thick with barbecue smoke, tension, and something sharper, something alive. Count 'em again, Carol, Lila demanded, her voice a tight wire, snapping with every syllable. She hovered over me, earrings swinging like pendulums, ticking down to some explosion I could feel brewing. There's got to be enough. Enough for the car, the dryer, Tommy's school fees, everything. I spilled the coins onto the table, their clatter a jagged melody against the wood. I'm trying, Lila. There's 38, 39, 42 so far. Old as sin too, 1880s, 90s. These aren't pocket change. They're collector's pieces. Collector's pieces? Velma barked, slamming her hands down so hard the table shuddered. What good's that to us? Ray needs a car now, not some pawnshop promise. You think we can drive coins to the grocery store? Her floral dress billowed as she paced, a hurricane in polyester, her eyes flashing like lightning over a dark sea. Ray rubbed his bald head, voice low, cracked. Velma, calm down. I can fix the Chevy, maybe. Rig something temporary. But this, he gestured at the coins, the watch, the letters spilling from the box. This is John's doing. Feels like he's talking to us. Talking. Lila snapped, whirling on him. He's dead, Ray. Been dead 25 years. And we're here drowning while Carol's daddy plays treasure hunt from the grave. She kicked a chair, sending it skittering across the grass. Her breath hitching like a sob was clawing its way out. Stop it, I shouted, slamming a fist on the table. The coins jumped, scattering like startled birds. All of you just stop. This isn't about me or Daddy or some damn car. It's about us. You've been tearing into me since I got here, and I'm sick of it. My voice broke, raw and ragged, a wound splitting open under the sun. Mama stepped forward, her cane trembling, her gray eyes a storm ready to burst. Carol's right. Y'all listen. John left this for a reason. Open them letters now, before you rip each other to shreds. Tommy, quiet till then, grabbed an envelope, his skinny fingers shaking. This one's got your name, Aunt Carol. He handed it to me, the paper brittle as dry leaves, Daddy's scrawl faint but unmistakable. To my card, I tore it open, heart hammering like a drum in a parade gone wrong. The words spilled out, ink faded but alive. Caro, if you're reading this, I'm gone. Hid these coins for you, for all of you. Wanted you to have something big, something to lean on when life gets mean. Don't let it split you apart. Love, Daddy. Silence fell, heavy as a wet quilt. I looked up, tears burning tracks down my face. He didn't want this, I whispered. He wanted us together. Velma's hands dropped, her storm fizzling. John, that fool. Always planning, even when he couldn't stay. Her voice softened, a crack in her armor, and she sank onto a bench, staring at the coins like they were his eyes looking back. Lila snatched another letter, ripping it open with a hiss. This one's to me. Lila, keep that fire, but don't burn the house down. Huh, he knew me too well. She laughed, sharp and wet, then crumpled against the table, shoulders shaking. God damn it. Why do you have to leave us? Ray picked up the watch, running a thumb over its tarnished face. This was his daddy's. Gave it to him when he turned 18. Time's all we got, Ray, he'd say. Guess he's giving it back. His voice broke, and he clutched it to his chest, a man unmoored. Mama reached for the last letter, her hand steady now, steel in her spine. She read aloud, voice rising like a hymn. Dora, my heart, keep him close. They'll fight, they'll fuss, but they're yours. Mocking see. She stopped, lips trembling, then roared. You hear that? Mocking see. I've watched you bicker and blame. Velma with her griping, Lila with her claws, Carol running off to hide. And me, letting it fester. No more. The words hit like a thunderclap. Velma's head snapped up, eyes wide. Dora, I didn't mean, you did. Mama cut her off, fierce as a lioness. And so did I, keeping quiet too long. John's gone, but we're here. Right here. So what's it gonna be? Fight over coins, or fight for us? Lila straightened, wiping her face with a shaky hand. I don't want to fight no more, Mama Dora. I'm tired of scraping, tired of losing. These coins, they're a chance, ain't they? They're more than that, I said, voice rising, a tide breaking free. They're Daddy telling us to stop breaking apart. I've been running, divorce, work, all of it, because I thought I'd lost you. But I haven't, have I? Ray gripped the watch tighter, nodding. No, kid, you haven't. And I ain't losing my family over a car or a dream. We'll figure it. Velma stood, slow, deliberate, and grabbed my hand, her grip rough, warm, real. You're staying, Carol. No more city bubble. We need you. Pie or no pie. I squeezed back, tears falling free now, a dam burst wide. I'm staying. For Daddy. For us. Mama smiled, fierce and bright, the storm in her eyes clearing. That's my girl. That's my family. The coins lay scattered, glinting like stars fallen to earth. But it wasn't their shine that mattered. It was us, cracked, loud, impudent as ever, standing in the wreckage, choosing each other. The climax wasn't the treasure. It was the tether, snapping tight, pulling us home. The picnic table was a battlefield strewn with coins, letters, and that sad, splattered pie. But the air felt lighter now, like the smoke from the grill had lifted, leaving only the scent of ribs and redemption. I wiped my tear-streaked face, Daddy's letter still clutched in my hand, its words a lifeline pulling us back from the brink. So what now? Lila asked, her voice softer, stripped of its usual bite. She leaned against the table, one earring tangled in her hair like a battle scar. We got coins, a busted Chevy, and a whole lot of yelling behind us. Where's that leave us? Together, Mama said, firm as granite, her cane planted like a flag. That's where. John gave us a shove. Now we decide. Carol, you're the numbers girl. Tell us what these coins mean. I scooped up a handful, their weight grounding me. They're worth a lot. Hundreds each, maybe more to the right buyer. 42 of them? That's thousands, easy. Enough to fix the Chevy, get Lila a dryer, maybe even, I glanced at Velma, grinning despite myself. Kickstart that RV fund. Velma's eyes widened, then narrowed. You serious? No fooling me, Carol. I'll chase you with that broom if you're teasing. No teasing. I laughed, the sound bubbling up like a spring after a drought. I'll call a guy I know in the city. Collects old coins like they're his babies. We'll cash him in, split it fair. Ray gets his wheels, Lila gets some breathing room, and you and Ray hit the road. Deal. Ray clapped his hands, the watch gleaming on his wrist now. He'd slipped it on like a promise. Deal. Hell, I'll drive us all to the Grand Canyon if you want. Tommy can ride shotgun. Teach him how to shift gears. Tommy Hoop, pumping a fist. Yes. Aunt Carol, you gotta come too. No skipping out. Wouldn't dream of it, I said, ruffling his hair. I'm done skipping. Moving back, quitting that soul-sucking job. I'll find something here, close to y'all. Lila blinked, then threw her arms around me, squeezing tight enough to crack ribs. You mean it? You're staying? No more city girl vanishing act. Mean it. I wheezed, hugging her back. You're stuck with me, Lila. Maybe we'll even dust off that salon dream. Cut hair instead of corners. She pulled back, grinning like a kid with a new toy. Oh, I'm holding you to that. Tommy, you hear? Aunt Carol's gonna make me a businesswoman yet. Velma snorted, but it was warm, almost tender. Better make her bake too. Next reunion, I want a real pie, not that store-bought mush. She pointed at the blueberry mess, then softened. But thanks, Carol, for sticking. John be proud. Mama nodded, her smile a quiet sunrise after a long night. He is proud. I feel it right here. She tapped her chest, then clapped her hands sharp. Now, enough blubbering. Ray, fire up that grill again. Ribs ain't done. Lila, set the table. Carol, you and Tommy clean up this coin mess. Velma, pour me some lemonade. I'm parched from saving y'all's hides. Yes, ma'am, we chorused, scattering like leaves in a gust, the tension dissolving into action. The Chevy sat crumpled, the oak branch sprawled like a fallen giant. But the fight was over, done, dusted, buried under Daddy's silver and Mama's steel. We'd sell the coins, fix what broke, and build what mattered. No more running, no more rifts, just us loud and messy, stitching ourselves tight. Yes, the grill flared and laughter sparked. I caught Velma's eye. Pie next time, huh? Damn right, she shot back, winking. And make it blueberry. Earned it, city girl. I grinned, the weight gone, the tether strong. Home wasn't a place, it was this, right here, and I wasn't letting go. So, let me get this straight, Lila said, plopping down beside me on the porch steps as the sun dipped low, painting the yard gold. The ribs were gone, the coins stacked neat in their pouch, and Ray was already sketching Chevy repair plans on a napkin. You roll in with that pitiful pie. Velma and me chew you out. A tree smashes Ray's car. And then, bam, your daddy's secret stash fixes everything. I chuckled, sipping lemonade, the tang sharp on my tongue. Pretty much. Started with you two calling me Miss High and Mighty. ended with us crying over Daddy's letters. Oh, and that oak branch, total game changer. Game changer, Velma called from the swing, her voice gruff but warm. Nearly gave me a heart attack. But those coins, John's coins, they're pulling us out of the muck. Ray's driving again, Lila's dreaming big, and you're back where you belong. Back for good, I said, firm as the earth under my feet. Quit the city grind, staying here. We're cashing in, fixing the Chevy, funding your RV trip, maybe even starting Lila's salon. Daddy didn't just leave money. He left us a way to stick together. Mama leaned on her cane, smiling soft as twilight. That's it, y'all. John knew we'd fuss, but he bet on us anyway. Don't let it split you, he wrote. And we didn't. Ray grinned, watch ticking on his wrist. Damn right. Family's tougher than that oak. And louder, too. Tommy dashed by, hollering, Aunt Carol, you owe me a ride when the car's fixed. Count on it. I yelled back, laughing. The chaos settled, the wounds healed. Not with coins, but with us choosing each other. That's what Daddy wanted, and that's what we got. A family impudent and whole, rooted deep.